Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this quick tutorial on how to start up the Mirage 2000 for DCS by Raspam. And then we have a quick look at the weapons and the radar. So first thing we're gonna do is here on the battery switches, we're gonna turn on the battery. We're gonna turn on the electric power transfer switch. You can delete the warning by pressing this light button that says PAN. That will reset our warning tone. Next thing we do is start the engine. For this we have the engine starter panel. We turn on the fuel pumps. Start the fuel pump switch on. We notch this one to the right. Then we open the cover and press the start button. Now we're gonna see the RPM coming up to 11. Once it sits at 11, we're gonna put our throttle to the forward detent. It will then start the engine from there up until it's running. Now you can take back the throttle again, and once you're over 40 RPM, you can turn on the two alternator switches. Also, you can turn on the hydraulic emergency pump switch to get rid of this warning light. Now the engine should be up and running. So next thing we do is we turn on lights inside the cockpit, which are these turning knobs. The lower ones are for floodlights and the top ones are for the console lights. So just turn those two and you should be fine. Next thing we do is the outside lights. It's these three switches. Those are formation lights, navigation lights and anti-collision lights. Also here is the landing light and taxi light, so we put it on taxi. Next thing we do is turn on the radar screen, which is the lower right button on the radar screen, which will give power to this screen. Also in the same go we can turn on the head-up display. It's this lower switch that is a little bit hidden under the panel. With this you should get your head-up display to have power. Also what we can turn on now is the RWR. For this you can turn on those three switches to the middle position. Now we're ready to taxi. For taxiing, we should turn on the nose wheel steering, which is button S on the keyboard, and it gives you this little blue light that says steer off. Alright, we are ready for takeoff. There is one thing to know about the flaps, because I couldn't find any flaps lever to put it into landing or takeoff position. So I guess they are managed by the flight computer, so we don't have to care about them at all. Second thing to know is when we rotate at about 120 knots, we're gonna pull this line up to the horizon, and once we have it there, we're just gonna keep it there until the wheels are off the ground. And 20 knots, rotate softly. We're gonna keep this line at the horizon until the feet are off the ground, until you can take your gear up. Alright, next thing we do is we turn on our radar. This is our radar screen. Right now we see that the radar is turned off. We can turn it on by turning this knob until it's in the EM position. Now we can see the radar screen is up and running. It's searching left, right, left, right. We can put it in a straight mode by pressing this button. It will now be a square screen, not like the turned one we saw before. Also here we can increase and decrease the height and the width of the radar scan zone, and here we can increase or decrease the distance of the radar screen. Next thing we do is we turn on our master arm. This will arm all our weapons. As you can see, we have loaded the Super 530 and the MagicII missile. If you want to use the Super 530 missile, you're gonna press this button and it will give you the little S. Also the head-up display will change and you will get the big circle and the little lock circle for the Super 530. So if you lock something, this little circle will be on the target. Same for the MagicII missile. If we choose it, we get the little S. Also we can hear the sound now of the missile seeker head, and you get the little blinking light, which is the same as in the Super 530. It's if you lock someone, this circle goes onto the target. Also, before you enter a close air-to-air engagement, you want to maybe turn this switch up. It is the G limiter. If you have a lot of bombs, it will only limit your Gs that you can pull to 4.5. If you put it in the upper position, into air-to-air, it will give you up to 9 Gs. You can silence the one here. Alright, here we are. I've set up some targeting drones in front of us. You can see them on the radar screen. It's those little V shapes. Now we're first gonna select the Super 530, which is this one. It should say the little S here. Next thing we do is we take our cursor from the radar, which is this cross. We put it on over one of the targets and we hit lock twice. First time it will only give us a track while scan. Second time it will single target lock it. Now we need to lock it twice so our missile can hit it, otherwise it will not hit. Alright, now I've positioned myself just behind the enemy. Now we can lock it up twice again. And we will see in the head-up display we've got the little square around the target. We also get the little circle inside the square, which means our missile is locked onto the target. On the right side you see this line, which indicates the distance of our target away from us, which is 1.4 miles now. And we also see the bracket of our missile envelope. This indicates if we are too far away from the target or not. So now the arrow is in between those two lines, so we are inside firing range. And here we are full swing. Splash. Alright, to use the short range locking system on your radar, you want to press V on your keyboard. It will give you this little circle in the head-up display. If you press it again, it gets into the second mode, which is a vertical line. Then the radar is going to lock anything that's in this vertical line. If you press it again, you get a horizontal line, then the radar is going to lock whatever is in this horizontal line. I highly recommend that you put this on your HOTAS system so you can access it really easily if you get into a dogfight. So let's try this. If I have this circle, I'm going to put it over this target there, and I press lock. It's going to lock this single target. If I do this with the line, I need to get the line over this target. If I press lock, it's going to lock me this target again. If I choose the horizontal line, let's unlock this target. I now cannot lock this target. If I get it into the horizontal, then I can lock it. So these are the three modes of close radar lock. Alright, now we're gonna try the MagicII missile. For that we're gonna press this button. Now you can hear the sound of the missile seeker. This is when it's not locked to any target. So we're gonna try to find the target now and lock it. This is when we locked it. You see the little circle now is over the target. And you can see the 1.4 on the right side says we're in firing range. So we're gonna fire Fox 2. splash. Alright, for guns we have this normal gun funnel. It works like in the F-16. You will have these two markers, which is a 300 and a 600 meters marker, if I'm not mistaken. And you also have this locking cross again, which you can lock a target with radar. Once you do that, you will get a shooting solution. Let's do this now. So if we lock this plane now, we get this circle on our gun funnel. This is the distance that our target is sitting at on the gun funnel. So basically what we do is we just pull this circle over the target and we should be ready to shoot. Right now we are still 1 mile out, so that's quite far, maybe too far to shoot. Get in a little bit closer. Alright, half a mile now. You can see the circle starting to grow. It's like in the F-15. Put it on the target and pull the trigger. It's a bit low. That was for the wing. There we have some good hits. Alright, to prepare our plane for landing, we're gonna turn off our master arm switch, so we are safe on the weapons. And we're also gonna turn off our radar, which we just turned this knob with right click into A. Now we have our radar turned off. Next thing we do is we press this button. So if you're in the approach mode, which is indicated by this little S, you're gonna see in the head-up display you get these two markers. If I'm not mistaken, these are the 14 degrees angle of attack markers. So you want to get your flight path marker and these two little triangles between those two markers and put the flight path marker on the runway, which will give you the best landing. So let's try this. There we go, put in landing gear, and we're gonna make our final turn. There we have 3 green lights for the landing gear. Our approach speed should be around 180 knots or something, and our final touchdown speed should be around 150, depending on our weight. And again, you don't have to care about the flaps. Your flight computer will do this for you. Alright, let's get our speed down here. Now, as you can see, the flight path marker is coming between those two marks, and we want to keep it there and on the beginning of the runway. And this should give us a really good setup for the touchdown. Can be a little bit slower, be between those two marks. There we go. We have to lift our head a little bit because we have such a high angle of attack. You might notice from the MiG-21. Let's not get too slow. And let's move on our touchdown here. Get our air brakes out. There we go. And now we can basically release our stick. It's gonna hold at the angle of attack itself, like that. And once we're below for 100 knots, we can softly push our nose down and then use our wheel brakes to do the rest. So that wraps it up for this tutorial on the Mirage 2000. Of course all the procedures are probably totally wrong. I just played around and tried what works for me. If you have any corrections or additions, please leave a comment. I'm happy to learn a lot more about this beautiful bird, and see you soon.